Hi, in this video, we are going to take a look at how we can actually show the details about an NFT. While doing so, we will start implementing the marketplace functions. So when a user clicks the NFT that he or she owns, he's going to be directed to the ID page. So the ID page will render the NFT details. And underneath it, we want a logic so that if the NFT isn't already listed, we want a card, small card that lists this NFT. But in case it's already listed, we want another card that says cancel this listing so that it will be removed from the listings. For this, I already have some components ready. They are basically UI components. So let me show you them. So the first one we should take a look at is NFT details. It gets type NFT from Thirdweb SDK. So this NFT contains metadata, owner, supply, the quantity owned, and we are just going to be showing them based on the inputs that we are getting. So when we get the actual details about the NFT, we are going to call this NFT details functional component. But as I said, this is just a UI component that's showing the image, the name, the ID, and if the metadata external URL exists, we are going to print that out as well, along with the supply, type, and owner. Another component we are going to use, so it's empty for the time being, and we have a basic card for selling the NFT. And as you can see, it has an input field with price on it, but this handle listing doesn't contain anything. So together we are going to fill in the details of this handle listing. And similarly, we have a cancel listing that is not getting any inputs because we don't need to get anything. We just need a button. And when the button is clicked, we are just going to stop selling that NFT basically. And this all will start from this ID page. And inside the ID page, as we have said, we are going to show the details. So let's start with that. And for that, let's use our own NFT contract logic. So we are going to get it from get NFT contract, just like before. And once we get the NFT contract, on that contract, we are going to actually use the NFT with the ID we have here. So this ID is actually the ID of the clicked NFT. So this is variable from next. So we are querying the URL parameters. And let's actually have a use state to store the NFT ID. Let's call this NFT ID. And it's going to be of type string. So let's import use state as well. Once we get the ID in use effect, let's set NFT ID to this ID as string. Because this ID can be of type string or string array or undefined. So we are attempting to set it as string in case it's a string array, which is not the case in our application, but still needed for the TypeScript association. So let's actually use this NFT ID to get the detailed data about the NFT. And for that, we are going to import this useNFT from Thirdweb. UseNFT looks for an NFT contract and token ID, and those are the variables we have. The first thing is NFT contract, and the other is NFT ID. And let's actually give them better naming so we can understand what they are. And is loading is NFT loading, perhaps. So now we have the actual NFT details. So we don't know if it's listed or not, but we can just show the NFT details using this NFT details component. And for that, let's create is NFT loading ternary. And just like before, if it's loading, we are going to show loading text. And otherwise, we are going to actually show the details. So let's give this some styles such as text center for aligning the text on the vertical center. Let's say loading NFT with ID. And this is not ID, this is NFT ID. So let's fix that. And there's a typo in here. Okay, now it's good to go. And in case we get the NFT, let's actually call the NFT details. And inside, it's going to take a NFT as parameter. And for that, we will use 3 dots. And it's giving us an error saying that metadata with question mark, meaning that metadata is optional. and it shouldn't be. And that's because we haven't checked for does the NFT exist or not, because this use NFT returns NFT or undefined, since the NFT ID can be invalid as well. And in order to fix this, we also should check for no NFT case. And here we have the NFT card, but the actual marketplace interactions will start with the underneath cards that I mentioned in the beginning. So let's check if the NFT is already listed in the marketplace. And for that, we will use useWalletDirectListings. And it's also going to return data and is loading, just like every other Thirdweb book. useWalletDirectListings, this one. And this one is going to get two parameters as well. The first one is contract, and the other one is filter. So filter is what we can get with our own function. Gets marketplace contract. Now we have the marketplace. So we have the contract. And for the filter, we are going to have start and end. And let's say start is 0 and count is 100. And now we are going to get all the direct listings. So let's give it a better name, such as direct listing. And actually, we don't need this is loading. We are not going to check for this because we need to fetch this in the use effect when the component is first rendered, because that will change what we are going to render underneath the NFT detail. For that, let's get listed NFT. And this is going to look for all the direct listings in case we have any. And under that, let's use find. So find is a built-in array function that returns the item if it's found, and it's going to be undefined if it's not found. So we are going to check for items token ID. So this ID is actually the listing ID. The one we need is token ID, and it should be equal to the NFT ID that we get from the URL. So this is going to be undefined if our NFT is not listed, and it's going to be of type direct listing if our NFT is listed, basically. So let's have an if check. So if we have this listed NFT, meaning that our NFT is indeed listed, we should actually keep the listing ID. And for that, let's add more to the state variables, such as this listing ID. It's also going to be a string. And actually, let's get price as well. So let's make this actually a number like this. And let's actually get the symbol as well so that we can show if it's listed for this much and with the currency so that the user will have a better experience. So let's call symbol and set symbol. And this is also going to be an empty string. But in case we find this listed NFT, let's fill in these values with set listing ID to listed NFT.id. As I mentioned, this is the actual listing ID. And let's also get the price using listed NFT that's currency value per token. And inside here, we have the symbol, and we can use display value, which is going to be better, which is going to be filtered from the decimals. In case we get the actual value, it's going to be with 18 decimals. And for showing it, we will need to get rid of the decimals. But with this, we actually have the display value, but this is a type string. So actually, we need to convert this to number with this. And similarly, we can get the symbol from listed NFT that's currency value per token that's symbol. Okay, so in case the NFT is listed, we have the listing ID and price and the symbol. So we can have a distinguishing factor among the listed one and the not listed one. And with this listing ID, let's actually call this cancel selling or sell NFT card. So inside here, let's have another ternary. It's going to check for listing ID. And in case we have a listing ID, we should cancel selling card. Yeah, this is the one for already listed NFT. and it's going to get price, symbol, and ID. So we have them, so we can just provide it easily. Okay, so symbol is symbol, and this listing ID is listing ID. And in case it's not listed, let's render the sell NFT card. And this on update price is actually called for our set price. Because in the sell NFT card, user has an input field to check to set the new price that he or she wants to sell it for. Price is price. And the ID is this time NFT ID, because this is for not listed ones. Okay, so with this, we basically have the rendering UI logic, and depending on the listing ID, if it exists or not, we can actually render what we want. So in the next video, we are going to actually complete this cancel selling and sell NFT cards so that our selling and cancel selling functions will be complete.